most of the time. So yeah, all over to you, Manju.
Hey, thanks, Vijay. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. All right. Here you go. Can you see my screen? Okay. Awesome. So thank you, folks, for spending this weekend learning and sharing a learning session here. So on behalf of Agile Waters, welcome to this session. So I'm going to talk about the journey of an enterprise agile coach. So the title says, where are you in the enterprise agile coaching journey? And I could already see many seasoned enterprise coaches in the call. So it's making me a bit nervous, but I will try my best. And let's make it more interactive. And since we are calling it as a journey, journey can be gives a different experience for each one of us, right? So I would like to hear your journey experience, as well as I will share my journey experience as we move forward. So my name is Manjunath. I'm an IC Agile authorized instructor for Enterprise Agile Coaching Track, which is a ICP CAT and ENT through Agile Waters. I'm also an Agile leadership journey guide. So I work with an international group of trainers and coaches influencing the journey of Agile leadership. And plus, I take care of last couple of years being in the space of Agile coaching, training, mentoring, and closely working with Vijay. Vijay has been one of my mentor, and what I am today is because of a great learning which I had from him. Quick background: so close to around 20 years of industry experience. Played multiple roles like Scrum Master, Product Owner, Coach, Program Manager, etc. What I really love is what I've understood. By when I was young, I wanted to be an professor, which as life says, so we moved on, got into multiple studies and jobs and stuff, and later I realized I think the true calling is teaching. So that's where I'm back to the track and spending most of my time with individuals, teams, teaching, coaching, mentoring, not just agile, but more in the life coaching as well as the other aspects as well. So good to be here. Let's talk about enterprise agile coaching. So even before we talk about where are we or where are you in the enterprise agile coaching journey, a quick context setting as well as trying to understand what's happening in the market. And majority of you are I assume are in agile space, either as an agile trainer, coach, or a mentor, or transformation consultant in some or the other form. As an agile practitioner, we know there's a huge demand for agile coaches, and it's exponentially increasing day by day. And in fact, today I was just searching in India how many agile coach openings are there. So I was surprised and astonished to see there are 46,000 related agile coaching positions open as we speak today, right, in Naukri. And right from CIO magazine to Forrester, or you look at any leading consulting companies or benchmarking studies, the agility has become a core strategic piece in most of the organization's transformation journey, or digital transformation or business transformation journey. So agile by default is plugged into their overall strategic piece. So that has created a lot of buzz about need of agile coaches or agility. But at the same time, many of us in the industry know it has become so much buzz that nowadays anybody and everybody calls themselves as an agile coach, which is okay, because it's all to do with demand and supply. But many a times it makes us to think, what are those real core skills and competencies required for an agile coach? Who can be an agile coach? And definitely there are different levels of agile coaching in terms of being called as a team coach or a program coach, enterprise coach, technical coach. There are so many now jargons and terminologies being used: product coach, user experience coach, and whatnot. So let's not get bogged down with all the things what's happening, but fundamentally what I wanted to bring all of us on the same pages, there's a huge demand across the board, not just in India, across the world. There's a huge emerging need of these agile coaches. Okay, so if that is the case, I would like to understand from your perspective, why do you think there's so much of demand for this agile coach? What is that magic that agile coaches are doing or can do, which is yielding into so much of need from the market being expressed by organizations and leaders in the industry? Okay, let's spend some time. I would like you folks to go to menti.com and use the code 40639368. So I'm going to present it here as well. Yeah, here you go. So it's live. So I would like you folks to go to menti.com, key in this code 40639368. And let's hear, I would like to hear your perspective. Why do you think there's so much of demand for agile coaches? What is that magic which we are doing as an agile coaching community, which is making us as a most sought, profiles or skill or a competency in the market? So I hope everybody is able to join. So let's take a minute or two.
If you put in the chat, we can copy paste.
Yeah.
Now we have to remember.
I'll do that. Here you go. It's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah,
thanks
Albert has already copy pasted. Thank you, Albert.
Yes, Albert.
You can check it from chat.
Okay, so can one of you confirm? Are you able to go to this page and start entering your details? Okay, yes. All right, there's one answer. Third eye view of an unbiased expert is really helping industry. Awesome, that's good. One person has joined so far. About others?
You have already joined the presentation. Use the field to enter your input. What is that? Why is it talking about presentation?
So is it giving you an option to enter your inputs? As soon as you join menti.com, it will open up a window for you. Say that you can see this question, why lean agile coaches are in demand, and you'll be able to enter your inputs. Are you able to do that?
I'm getting this pop-up. You have already joined the presentation. Use the field to enter your input. What presentation? I don't know.
Okay, but are you able to enter inputs?
No, it's not even taking me to that. It's giving me this pop-up. Anyway, that's fine.
Okay,
It's
maybe
okay.
you can close your browser and open up a new one.
Just voice it. Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
Okay, because business need to adapt speedily into complex world to get real potential from the teams, organization need right guidance and motivate. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, that's a good starting point. I understand that business wants quick results. Yes, Margaret, you're right. So yes, these are all primarily reasons why there's a huge demand for agile coaches. And if you ask me, from my perspective, if you look at the state of agile survey results year on year, right, what are the top 3 or 4 reasons why agile transformation has not been successful? Probably if it is there in the top of mind, would you like to just either type in or maybe unmute yourself and share? What are the 3 or 4 reasons the state of agile report says that agile transformations are not giving the right all right, screen is not being shared. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
With slides?
We can. Yeah.
Okay. So Alberto is saying he's not able to, probably some issue, internet issue maybe. So what I was asking is, according to you, based on this state of agile survey, there are 3 or 4 fundamental factors being listed as the challenges to get the true essence or a business outcome from a transformation. What are those 2 or 3 top reasons from your point of view?
Yeah, the first one would be organization culture and the mindset. If you don't have a learning mindset, if you have a stuck mind, because actually agile is completely opposite to waterfall in a way. Though the basic things, charter and all are okay, but there, PM tells you what to do. Here you have to start thinking for yourself, self-organizing.
Absolutely. So organization culture and mindset, definitely.
It's very hard, plus training and also because we live through it. So
right, you're right. Organization culture is coming up as one of the top 5 reasons why the success of organization transformation is being challenged. What could be the other reasons? 2 or 3 other reasons, top 5 reasons. Anybody else? Okay, so if you look at the report from the last 2 to 3 years, like the 3-4 factors which is coming up is, one is, as Margaret mentioned, it is the culture of the organization. Second one is the availability of agile experts who can really guide and mentor and coach and navigate through this transformation. And of course, the third one, top 5 other reasons which is coming up is the involvement of leadership and in general the organization structure and processes and policies and those things which is not aligning to the agile way of working. So these are the 3-4 topics which is emerging, in terms of leadership, in terms of culture, in terms of experts who can help to navigate the business agility, not just the something fundamentals like it could be a Scrum, Kanban, or safe adoption. Those things, any teams or any individuals can learn and adapt it. But what the report is talking about is the large complex transformations are challenged because of these 3-4 reasons. So that is where, from my point of view, enterprise coaches plays a key role. So before we even understand what is enterprise coaching is all about, let's spend some time on, from your point of view, who can become an agile coach? Is it that anybody can become an agile coach, or do you think there should be some kind of a, I would not call it as a criteria because that may be a little bit wrong, but what kind of a composition, it could be an experience, personality, or it could be expertise, make somebody to choose a path of an agile coach from your point of view? Since many of you are agile coaches, what made you to think that I can be a good coach? I want to pursue in this path as an agile coach. Maybe a few quick thoughts.
First would be a project management experience.
Okay, so
the whole thing,
so basically project management is all about end-to-end view of product development or a solution or a service delivery, connecting the dots, people, process, tools, technology, culture, and basically in view of end-to-end view of a system, right, which is predominantly available with the project management community, because we tend to cover end-to-end spectrum of delivery. Okay, what else? What other things constitute?
Willing to learn,
willingness to learn. Yeah, you're right.
And willingness to help others, that will to win.
Absolutely.
Communication and all, it takes a lot of thing to be a coach, right?
Absolutely.
So,
how about others? Other folks, you have been quite silent.
I know everybody's so silent. I just want to keep
adding
quiet.
one more. Yeah, Manju, adding one more point. Who wants to willing to become a change agent?
Absolutely. So that's what exactly the 4th picture talks about. Are you willing to challenge the status quo and maybe go against the odds and drive the change, right? It's not so easy to do it, right? That's perfectly right. Right, the 4th picture exactly depicts it, that it's a change catalyst, right? It's not an easy thing. And Margaret said, are you willing to help others? That's the first picture is what talks about. What are the other 2 things, right? Other 2 pictures talks about
the person who believes learning is a journey. There's no end to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's about learning and journey, and probably continuous improvement. We typically call Shuhari model, right? I know where I am, what I am good at, but at the same time, I know in this journey I will learn. Plus, I'll take others in my journey of learning, right? What is the third picture is talking about?
Wearing multiple hats. So that's what I can.
Yeah, but in an agile coaching context, what it can be?
Yeah, because he need to teach in some aspect, he need to mentor in some aspect, he need to that in that aspect, yes, he need to wear multiple hats according to the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at especially a role of an enterprise coach, we end up influencing leaders, we end up influencing business functions or support functions, delivery functions, product management, and whatnot, the entire organization. So having an I would not say hands-on experience in all the functions or all the domains or functions, but at least a fair understanding as well as some kind of an experience of not just I'm a product delivery expert or just a product management expert, but if you have this cross-functional experience of working, with different set of experience you have, probably you have seen a different aspect of your organization, so that might help you to move forward as an agile coach, right? So this is just in some thoughts to ensure that, because nowadays I keep getting this question, okay, hey, I'm a scrum master, can I be a coach? I am a project manager, product owner, a business analyst, how can I be an agile coach? So I would not say there's a hard entry criteria for anything, but because the nature of agile coaching requires you to be a kind of full molded or 360 or at least 360-degree view of an organization, how it functions, and we need to give that kind of a perspective to leaders and teams. Okay, so from an I see agile, which is considered as well-known organizations in terms of defined and practicing this coaching, agile coaching as an key competency area. So it talks about agile coaching can be at multiple levels. Me an individual level, as in knowing what I am, right? Even before I can be a coach, first I need to understand what is my strengths, what are my my personality is all about. Is it in line with being a coach, trainer, and mentor, or that fundamental self-awareness is the basic thing for all of us. It's not just for an agile coach role, but any role for that matter. And then if you are moving in an agile coaching journey, the first things which comes up typically is something, there's like a scrum master, facilitation, practicing collaboration across the team, and more of that as a team level, then program level and enterprise level, right? So the way it differentiate is when you're starting with, helping maybe a one team as a scrum master, you're still a coach. You end up influencing your team to be an awesome team and deliver the outcomes and stuff like that. And if you start working in multiple projects or programs or in agile teams, helping multiple teams in a program level, so you're typically a program coach, and you're an enterprise coach when you're working typically at a multiple teams level with multiple leadership functions and stuff like that, right? So that's what is the enterprise agile coach role is all about. So whereas the focus of an agile coach is more on scrum masters and probably mid-level managers and teams and practice enablements and stuff like that, whereas enterprise coach will end up working predominantly on the system with leadership, processes and systems and tools and mindset and culture and stuff like that. So the agile coach predominantly will start looking at the the effectiveness of the events and the practices and stuff like that, whereas enterprise agile coach in most of the cases will end up becoming facilitating large change initiatives and workshops with a typically at a way higher level of an organization involvement, right? So basically the focus often, if you ask me, in an agile coach or a scrum master, is mainly enabling agile way of working, adoption or more of improvement of those practices, whereas the enterprise coach is predominantly focusing on the transformation aspect of it, or what we call a transition, which is more long-term sustainability, the cultural changes, the many of you are talking about, right? So that is where is the crux of an enterprise coach is all about. Now that you can sense that an enterprise coach role is little bit, if you ask me, it is more like a combination of many of stuff. So you end up being a management consultant many a times because you need to study the system. You need to, we end up studying the system. We need to end up doing a little bit of consulting in terms of understanding the overall organization structures and hierarchies and policies and metrics and all those stuff. So that's where we'll end up wearing a hat of in management consulting. We will become more as a L&D kind of an expert, or maybe I would call it as human HR kind of a person, because we end up identifying the competency gaps and what kind of trainings and enablement is required, not just the agile practices, but more from a behavioral skills, like what we call the mindset part of it. As Margaret was talking about, agile is also about mindset, right? So what are those agile mindsets we need to bring in? Or we typically call it as the biggest hurdle for transformation is all about leadership, right? Then how do we enable leaders? Because end of the day, the only people who can influence the agile transformation and the culture of an organization is the leadership, right? The agility of an organization is the agility of leadership. So if we have to influence leadership and work with them and make them as our partners to shape the organization culture and the mindset, then we need to have a solid understanding of how do we really make these leaders, or leaders as coaches. Typically what we call coaches, leadership as a coaching team, right? So it requires a lot of hand holding and mentoring and the change management and stuff like that, right? So what I'm trying to answer to many of the things which I would like to hear from you, but let me stop here. And I would like to hear, now that we kind of differentiated between a team or a program level coach versus an enterprise coach, from your perspective, what are those typical skills and competencies or attributes required for an enterprise agile coach, right? So let's again go to the menti.com. So this time again, I'm going to go to the next question, which is what, according to you, are some of the key skills and competencies is required to be an enterprise agile coach? Let's spend some time, say maybe of 5 minutes, and I would like to hear your perspective. Maybe you can enter it first, and then maybe we can have some conversation, and then we can move on. So are we good so far? Are you all with me? So we have around 12 people in the call. Margaret, Badri, Joseph, Fujita, Raj, Subhaya, Shri, Vijay, Alberto. Are you able to access this menti.com? Can you key in your perspective? What do you think are the key skills and competencies required for an enterprise agile coach? Are you able to enter? Yeah, agile experience, enterprise view, learning and certification to validate for the enterprise coach. Okay, good thoughts. What else? Okay, now know how organization works and how to organically transform it. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. A good one, Margaret. Patience. Very good. I like it. Yeah, patience, because we are dealing with people, we are dealing with systems, we are dealing with the culture, which is not so an easy thing to change, right? Confidence. Yes, Joseph, you're right. Confidence about ourselves that we can do it. Partnering with the leaders, partnering with other people. Basically, it's like a leadership role, right? We need to be confident about ourselves. We need to take people along, and yeah, knowing tools and techniques and framework for transforming. Yeah, I agree. Tools and techniques and frameworks are required, but I would say those are required, essential, no doubt about it, but they need not be the only stuff, because right, not to put down or a pinpoint, but as they say, right, a tool with a fool is still a fool kind of a thing, right? But these are required. There are proven frameworks and tools and techniques we'll end up using as part of our transformation journey. But yeah, I am liking the other aspects you guys are folks are bringing in, like assessment tools, coaching skills, right? Small wins, creating small wins. Yeah, awesome. Learning can play a major different role, can deal with the people. Yeah, you're right. Awesome. Confidence, proactiveness, emotional intelligence. Awesome. Emotional intelligence is very key because yeah, functional, technical, social, and mental skills. So we have one of our coach in our circle, who's a very down to earth, as well as he writes a lot of blogs on LinkedIn, and he conducts many sessions in the webinars and all. So he says enterprise agile coaches are psychologists, right? So we end up dealing with people, the behaviors, why some people are behaving, why they are showing resistance, what is that underlying fear or underlying motivation, which is either making them as a catalyst or making them as a roadblock for the transformation, right? So we end up becoming using many of these psychological aspects in the transformation journey. Awesome. Respect. Yeah. True. Very well. Thank you for that, being active participants. So as you folks said, it is not just the hard skills, right? By now we would have realized enterprise agile coach is not just knowing probably some framework like Scrum, Kanban, Scrum at Scale, Safe. Those things are essential, for no doubt about it. But it's beyond, right? So then, what is that beyond? Let's try to explore it a little more bit. And if you ask me, from my perspective, um, enterprise agile coaching is all about coaching people to overcome systemic issues, right? What is systemic issues? You all know the story of this elephant, how they train an elephant. Anybody wants to talk about it? If you have been to any elephant training camps, and if you talk to people, right, how do they train this elephant? When they bring this elephant from forest, and how do they train it? How do they ensure that it doesn't escape and move out? Any insights do you have?
Yeah, so they actually keep it tied like that for a long period of time. Then it's just like the goldfish. The elephant thinks that the chain is still there, and then it
Yeah.
doesn't actually go. Similarly, goldfish, give them in a small pond, and when the pond is become bigger, they're still going in that circle over there because mentally they
Yeah.
don't know now it's a big pond.
Absolutely. So the way they train is when they bring this elephant from forest, right? They ensure to escort it with another 2 or 3 big elephants, right? They create a kind of a scary environment for this new element which is getting into the camp. It's always surrounded by people, and it's always kind of protected from escape. And initially, few days when they are training, they actually tie a big chain or a big rope to a big wooden block, or maybe to a tree, right? And initially few days, what it does is it's try to escape it. It thinks that it is capable of escaping it, right? It try to find a way solution for that, and it realizes it cannot over a period of time, because it knows that it's kind of a tide, and it stops doing that and becomes part of that system. It becomes part of the training. And even after that, what they do is they no more tie that big rope or a big chain to it. They tie it with a small rope, with that small tig, what you see in the picture. But it's mentally modeled so much that it cannot escape, or it says that, okay, there's no point in trying it out. So this is exactly in the situation we most of the cases deal with as an enterprise coaches. You go there and you start seeing the things that you'll see, oh my god, this is so simple, this is so commonsensical, this is so what do you call, a simple change, simple process. It's a simple experimentation, right? Why is that we are not doing it, right? And you'll start realizing it's not just about that change, but it's that mindset, what we typically call. And it's all about that systemic constraints. People see that, oh, it doesn't work in our organization. Oh, our systems are complex, our products are complex, our documentation is complex. They're kind of constrained to think in that way. And that's where an enterprise coach can play a big role, not just challenging, but maybe, how do you really train that elephant and untrain that elephant to live from a different perspective? That's from my perspective is a big deal for an enterprise agile coach, because we are dealing with a big level of abstract level of leadership and organization. So And many of you called this out very clear, and this is not an exhaustive or an extensive list of all the skills and competencies, but some of them, it is active listening. Many a times we get into the conversation with leaders and teams and some facilitation of some events, you will realize, if you are very active, you can start connecting the dots, you can start hearing some patterns, you can start sensing that, oh, something is wrong about maybe a process or a culture or a people or tools here, which is, so this active listening is very key. And many a times, based on my and many of your experience, right, empathy can also create a lot of difference, right? If you hear people problems and challenges and all those stuff with an empathy, they speak up and they are ready to create the journey, of better way of working and stuff like that. Compassion, being assertive, patience, right? Margaret called about it. System thinking. From my perspective, this is the biggest thing. And many a times as an enterprise coaches, we fail because of the system thinking. As they say, we typically get into siloed approach of improvements and siloed approach of optimization, which may be required in the beginning of the journey, or sometimes because of system constraints, we end up doing it. But it's our duty to call it out, right? If only software team becomes an agile way of working, or maybe in only downstream and upstream becomes, and rest everybody is working in a non cooperative or a collaborative way, you're not going to get the results. So are we able to sense that entire end-to-end stream or a value stream, or you want to call it as a systemic view, which is important for us? Conceptual and practical thinking. Many a times, for example, not to brag or say, but I am currently working or coaching in a large electromechanical design company where they kind of decided to go with a Scrum, whereas the stories are such that we are not able to break down into smaller pieces which can be done in a sprint. Many a times it goes beyond because of it involves hardware and design and material, procuring some material and testing it, integrating and stuff like that. So many a times we as a coaches we go with a very bookish kind of an approach. No, it has to be done, it has to be sliced, and we tend to go by the book and rules without understanding the intent why it was defined in a certain context, right? So that contextual and conceptual understanding and practical or a pragmatic approach sometimes it gives a better perspective, because I see a lot of challenges in some of our even coaches community that we go with the what is being defined as a book. I'm not saying that don't do that, but be pragmatic and weighing out those options, right? Then problem solving, change management, communication, interpersonal skills, leadership engagement, stakeholders management, execution excellence, and business acumen, right? So these are some of the aspects which I brought it. Of course, as I said, it's not an extensive list, but we can keep on adding about it, right? And now after hearing all this stuff, you may be wondering, oh my God, is it so complex? Is it so, fulfilling or overwhelming? Yes, it is. That's why many times you really speak to some of the seasoned enterprise coaches in the market. They say, yes, I am still in the maybe learning phase, and if you want to benchmark yourself in that Shuhari model, right? Many of them say that I am somewhere still in walking towards the stage, because it's an ongoing journey. It's a continuous discovery kind of a thing. And of course, a proven as well as most authentic framework which is available currently for all of us is this Agile Coaching Institute framework for Agile coaches competency. And I believe most of you in the call will be aware of it, but in the interest of larger community and just wanted to spend some time. So an Agile coach by default is expected to have a mastery of these 5 elements, which we all know. What is Agile? What is agility? What is this lean Agile? Practitioner is all about the flow and the value and continuous delivery of values and customer centric thinking and all those stuff. This having a very clear understanding of lean Agile practices is the first fundamental basis for being an Agile coach, even for an enterprise coach, because we end up influencing many of the other aspects, but this is fundamentally has to be very strong to move forward. And of course, the teaching, we end up doing most. I mean, if you are in the early stage or mid stage of your transformation, so you end up spending a lot of your time in teaching, right? The teaching itself is a huge competency area. There are many tools and techniques are available now with this virtual world. How do you really facilitate those trainings to be more effective and involving people and stuff like that? and there are techniques like, teaching from the back of the room and many of those, right? So how are we building our competency as an enterprise coach? Because we end up doing a lot of trainings, may not be the practice level trainings, but leadership level, cultural level, or you end up doing coaching or training sessions for scrum masters who are, or for other coaches who are going to take up the further trainings and stuff like that, and mentoring, no doubt about it, professional coaching and facilitation, right? And then comes the technical mastery, business and transformation mastery. And by default, if you ask me, all enterprise coaches, we are expected to be master of transformation, which is all about dealing with changes and change management, human behavior and dynamics. How do you create a coalition or a transformation team and create a transformation backlog and so on and so forth, which is a must for any enterprise coach for that matter. And what differentiate in the market nowadays is, are you coming from a technical coach, technical coaching, or an engineering and architectural, or nowadays the huge demand is for hardware agility. Do you know how to bring in this agility in and hardware, which is very difficult, because even to create a mold, even to create a prototype, probably it takes a couple of months. Then what agility are we talking about? And how do we bring in that concept of technical agility, right? The agile engineering practices, not just in the software or the hardware, but maybe it could be a marketing or sales or HR kind of a thing, right? So, and combined with business mastery, which is about product management, which is about the continuous delivery of value. So if as an enterprise coach, the more we build the depth in any one of these areas, either being in a technical side or business mastery side, that's going to help us, because in a large scale transformation, so not only we will be dealing with these areas, but we end up influencing maybe a product management team or a set of architects or technology experts, right? So how do we build that? And many a times we know we might have our own limitations. Either I may be good in this or this or this, or how do I know where I am today, in which area? And even as an enterprise coach, if I am able to build this kind of a radar chart of where I am today, what are my gaps, and if I have to fulfill and go to the next level, what is that I need to do? It can be a training, it can be a mentoring, it can be a on the job, or it can be identifying some quest which will help me to take to the next level, reading books, blogs, or videos, or it can be pairing with somebody. So many things can be done to build our the muscle, or a strong muscle in any of these competency areas. So how do we do it? So few of you in the call obviously maybe would have attended some of our training or workshops where we actually make you to do this exercise. There is something called as Agile Growth Wheel. I hope that all the practitioners in the call, know about this already. This is the most proven framework which is available for any Agile coach to. It's available free, open source, and it's free for all of us to use it. A link has been given. Maybe I will paste that link to all of you. So what you folks can do is, it's freely available. There is a detailed guideline available in terms of what are those competency areas, and how do you assess yourself? Where are you standing today in terms of these competency areas? So, and what we do is, when we conduct Enterprise Agile Coach workshops here in Agile Waters, we actually make you to do this as an activity. And post that, we kind of ask you to come out with a short-term, medium-term, and long-term goal, right? What is that you want to focus on? Which area you want to build your expertise to, maybe in the next 2 months or 3 months and 6 months and 9 months? And if you need any coaching support or mentoring support or post-workshop support, we work together as a pair, and we ensure that these things are taken care. So I would recommend, if you are an enterprise agile coach, and if you want to know where you are in this journey, this is a good starting point, right? Do spend some time, fill this up, download these guidelines are available, Excel sheets are available, or online versions are now available. It requires a good dedicated time of, I would say, at least a day or two to read through and do your assessment. How I did is, I did it for myself. Plus, I also reached out to my manager, as well as I had 2 or 3 mentors who were helping me in this agile journey. So I also reached out to them and said, this is my self-assessment. What do you think, right? Where do you see myself in these areas? So it kind of gave me that 360-degree kind of a view. And I started sharing, okay, now I want to read this book, or I want to read this article and stuff like that. And thanks to many of my mentors, they actually kind of shared a master list of these trainings and videos and books to be read and articles to be read, which really helped me. And some of you, if you are interested, so let me know so I can send you those books and links or videos to watch and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is, it's a journey for sure, but we can get started somewhere. And this will really help. This has really helping many of people whom I have met and worked with. So I would recommend, if you're not used it, so please do it. Any one of you here in the call have used this in the past and found it to be useful? You want to maybe unmute yourself and call about this, give a shout out that yes, this really helped me, and maybe your experience sharing of using this agile growth wheel.
No, we have not used this wheel.
Okay, Vijay, you want to share?
I have used it and it's really helpful.
Thank you, Vijay. Yeah, I know you're a ground-up guy. You would have done it, and because where you are today. Vijay, you want to share your experience? I know we made you to do this as part of our workshop.
Yes, we did, and it was very useful to self-assess where are we and where we need to do more. Meaning, we need to concentrate more on
Yeah, true. And this can be an ongoing activity. Like, you can revise this, say, every 6 months or every 1 year. Typically, what I do is at the beginning of the year, I do a goal setting for myself, right? So I look at this, and I usually keep aside some 10% of my earnings for sometimes 10 or sometimes less than that, for my growth or my investments to learn, right? So these areas can help you where where you want to really focus on and invest yourself and grow, kind of a thing, right? So yeah, with that, so you may be wondering, what we're talking about so far is actually about building a mastery, right? Take a subject, and as they say, right, there's no secret sauce of being a master. It is only about practice and practice and practice, right? You need to do a deep dive into the subject, read more blogs and watch videos and pair up with the people, ask for mentoring, ask for coaching. The only secret is, just be in the deep into that. And but you may be wondering, like, where does it start? It all starts with one step, right? It can be a self-learning, it can be attending a class, it can be finding a mentor and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all about it. And how we can help, or how I can help, is of course, we usually decouple this Friday Saturday sessions, and we don't typically sell this programs as part of Agile Waters, but we thought of sharing that we do help in this journey of becoming an enterprise coach. By you can attend these workshops, which are designed for building. I would not say by attending you will build a mastery, but at least it will give you an awareness of what it takes to be an enterprise coach. What are those competencies, what are those basic elements you need to know as an enterprise coach to excel as an enterprise coach. So we continue to give those mentoring and coaching support, as I said. So that's something probably, if you are keen, you can talk to Agile Waters team, and you can ping me or Vijay, and we can share you how we can help you, right? So still, this is my coordinates, so you can reach me at manjuna.rao@agilewaters.com, or my mobile number, my LinkedIn is there, MS Manjurao. You can reach out to Agile Waters to find our agility trainings. But since we do have some time remaining, what I would request is, many of you are here in the call probably are already an enterprise coach, right? So you may be practicing it. I see a Rajnikant, we had an amazing conversation when we met in one of the workshops. Many of you are already a seasoned agile coaches, enterprise coaches. So what has helped you to build this mastery in enterprise coaching journey? Or what are some of the challenges you are still facing? And probably we can make it last 10 minutes more as a lean coffee kind of a session, where you can share your challenges and issues, or maybe some case study which really helped you to be an awesome enterprise coach. And we would love to maybe hear your perspective, as well as share some of our perspective. Like, we have Rajnikant, we have Badri, we have Vijay. Many of you are being practicing this for quite some time. And that's end of my presentation. I just wanted to trigger some thoughts and maybe use more time for this conversation, and see what does it making sense, or did I miss any major perspective, what it takes to be an enterprise coach. Let's talk about it.
Sure, Manju. Can I share from my point of view?
Oh, yeah,
I think
please feel free.
it was a great webinar. A lot of important points you have discussed. Thank you so much for sharing the valuable thoughts, Manju. See, my experience is like when I am dealing currently with one of the world's largest bank in terms of digital and agile transformation. The challenge I face or what I learn in, every day, as part of the Agile Center of Excellence, doing agile coaching and all. On a given day, let's say we have a meeting with business leaders. So one thing very extremely important from my point of view is that I should remember the names of the people. So they're all different. There's somebody from LATAM, NAM, and APAC, from US. They're from different countries, and there are different levels, directors and vice presidents, and very senior business leaders. And what is very important from my point of view, I should remember their names, how to pronounce their names very carefully, correctly, and their title designation, because they are in the system for last 30-40 years. The way they speak is very different. Their English is very different. Somebody from Mexico, Brazil. So I face this as a challenge to really connect them. Culturally, they are so different. When I say one English sentence, it is totally different meaning for them. And when they say, it is totally different meaning for me and my friends in India. So one is they come from very strong business functional side. Immediately after 1 or 2 hours, we have a meeting with the architects. These very technical savvy architects, their language is so different. Some of them, they may like agile, they may not like agile. And agile coach being part of the governance team, we have to deal with them and the ability to convince them. And every time we conduct a meeting with some of the strong leaders, somebody won't attend for a meeting. 1 or 2 line of business leaders, they won't attend for the meeting, but they just wanted to, again, we have to talk to them separately, offline to them. And then somebody is not getting convinced on a daily basis, so somewhere in the middle tier, somebody is not getting buy-in at one value streaming, mapping, or operational value streams, or development value streams, the upstream systems, downstream systems. They own the systems for last 30-40 years. Somebody like me come and take away to digital. When I say Android, iPhone, and all these things, some of them, they may not like it. But these are some of the challenges I face on a day-to-day, Manju.
Right. Yeah, I get that. So knowing the dynamics of the audience and how do I build the rapport, and many a times what I have seen is, as an agile coaches, we tend to go and try to sell agile, right? As if agile is a silver bullet for all the problems, right? And that's the moment where they stop listening to us, or they say, okay, this guy is there to only sell agile, right? So many of the coaches, what I have heard and learned is we stop selling agile, start talking about what is that business and business challenges, and how we can collaborate together to solve those. What is the biggest pain they are facing, right? The moment I think the conversation starts or shifts around business outcome, and somehow some of these tools and techniques from lean agile world can help them to solve it. I think that's where is the quick win, and we end up opening the doors for us to collaborate. I think that's one thing which I have learned. Probably can give a try, because especially as Shri, you said, the people who have been for a long time and they know the products, they know the ecosystem, they know the culture, they think, who is this new guy who can come and fix all these problems, right? So they tend to see agile coach as a magician trying to bring all the changes by himself or herself, which we all know it cannot be done. We need to work together as a team to make it. So how do we win? How do we make it talk their language? That's where, if you see, one of the key skills and competencies for an agile coach is business acumen. What is this business is all about, and can I know a little more about their business? What is their business challenge, market challenge, so that accordingly we can create those, co-create their transformation strategies. That's my view.
Absolutely.
Super. Vijay, any thoughts from you, Vijay Wade?
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, when I started this coaching and went into Enterprise Agile Coaching, uh, it was by fluke that I went into Enterprise Agile Coaching because I was a coach for this particular organization, and somehow I do not know, he was a senior coach, but the CEO of the organization liked my interactions with the teams and all, and he started interacting with me more and more. And then he said, why don't you actually help my people, coach? So I started doing it. But by then, there was no certification or a course which was there to tell about what the world is actually doing, like we do in CAT and ENT or any other courses for that matter. So I was pretty new coach. I started with team and mid-level coaching, but then I was missing that repertoire or that particular jargon that I was missing. Like, for an example, if I want to say co-creation, I would like to say in so many words. The moment I say it into so many words, I generally lost the weightage of those words. So I say I mean, I have learned about it. How many words that you throw to the management, it has a weightage. So if you throw 10 words, it reduces its meaning per word, kind of, So the moment I say co-creation and I stop, and then management thinks, oh, wow, that's really a good thing. And that's really about coaching. So that's what I was missing by then. But days passed and I learned about these courses, and I learned from all of you guys. So that really helped me in enterprise coaching. So those people are different. I mean, they want more value per word than as a coach who's throwing so many words, kind of. Even though you might have a lot of knowledge, but it reduces per your word. So just a small thought from my side. And this frameworks really helps.
Yeah. Super. Okay.
So Manjunath, when you do agile, just 1 minute to go, like it can be anything, like it can be Scrum, Kanban. So what do you focus? Because for me, it has mainly been Scrum, and then like many people say, oh, okay, we don't need to follow the process and all, but it's different to just say Scrum and do what you feel like. Many people are doing Scrum in waterfall way, like doing their own thing, whereas those processes, that real principles of agility, the stand-ups, this and that. So every process has a value to it, and that actually drives towards the thing of self-organizing, cross-functional teams, and psychologically, mentally. So that's really important. I've known of people who have not done training, and they come and they say, "Why should I come to stand up every day?" Or they're busy on their cell phone, so they're not getting the thing of being there, present and involved, which is actually a crux of agile. In waterfall, what happens? Okay, I need 8 days to go. Then I'll start on the 7th and 7.55th day and start doing the work, and say, okay, this is done. Whereas it's not like that over here. Like, what did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? What do you plan to do tomorrow? So you're on your toes. So some people find it very stressful. Oh my God, now I have to be on my toes. What if I'm running my own business? I'm there only for not doing some coding, or I'm telling somebody else to do my coding, working from home. But it's a lot of commitment, and so you have to follow the process. I don't know, that's my just 2 cents about it. And you, like, if you're going to come to agile team, do your training and come, so you know exactly what those processes are, what each of them did, the retrospectives, the thing to improvement you have to keep improving. So depends on what you're teaching, but if it's Scrum.
That awareness about practices and frameworks is a must. Otherwise, what will happen is people will do in their way and they don't get benefit out of it. In fact, there was one session which I did for Agile Waters long ago, like why practitioners, they don't like Agile. It's not because there is a problem with an Agile way of working, but it's the way we make them to do or implement, right? For example, the daily stand-up, if Scrum Master behaves like a teacher with a stick in the hand, tell me what did you do yesterday, what are you doing to do tomorrow, right? They'll say, holy cow, give me a break, I am not going to tell this, because give me that autonomy, give me that space, kind of a thing, right? So it's all about understanding the intent behind these events, or the rituals or practices, and then making them buy in for that. How do we do it? That's where
Yeah.
coaches are required.
For the
If it
last
is
3 years, everybody's been working from home. So, it's very
Yes.
hard to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you come for a stand-up, oh, I had to go to school to get my daughter. Every day you're going there. Who knows? It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
self-organizing and, co-located. So the co-location is gone.
Gone,
Like
right? Yeah.
everybody,
now,
so with the result,
it's the good part is even all the agile frameworks are going through this refinement due to the pandemic, right? Earlier we used to believe the only way is being together physically and face to face. Now they say,
yeah, they were not even recommend to have distributed teams. You're like, oh no, you can't have a developer in India or developer in the Philippines or something. No, they should be co-located. But with pandemic, the whole thing changed, right?
Now,
So
the
the
intent
result,
has to be met. You should be able to talk to each other, collaborate seamlessly with all the technology advancement like the Zoom and other stuff now that. So it is all about that. All right. Thank you so much for all of you. Just we are doing a time boxing since it's already 8:32. Thanks for active participation, and thanks for the opportunity, Vijay and entire Agile Waters team. So I am available. Just ping me or LinkedIn, so we can have further
all the
conversation.
best, Manjunath, in your endeavors.
Thank you. Same to
going.
you all. Thanks,
Thanks,
Rajni, for
Manju.
joining.
Thanks
you.
for the interesting session.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you,
Thanks,
Manju.
Very good session.
It's really
Thank you.
wonderful having you. And thanks everyone for joining in. Join every Saturday, same time, same location.
Thank you.
See you next Saturday.
Thank you.
See you next Saturday, folks. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers.
Hey, Alberto.
you,
Hey, Joseph.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Yeah. See ya.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
Bye.